Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a gathering place. Today is a special show. We are so excited because we have a great show coming up, talking about a great event happening Saturday, November 11th at the Choppee campus in Georgetown County, South Carolina. We're going to be talking about some impactful educators. We're going to hear why they're impactful and personal and somewhat not personal stories, but those anecdotes that people talk about in the community about why these folks were impactful that continues to this day. I'm looking forward to it. I knew some of these folks personally, and I am looking forward to today's show, and I hope you are too. And we're going to start this show right after this opening.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said, I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even a basic type of technology, you learn it all.
And people are
Good question.
It's coming out, folks, this Saturday, November 11th at 3 p.m. at the Choppee campus in Georgetown, South Carolina. And if you wondered about the Choppee campus, we're going to learn more about this with some community leaders. And let's get started with introducing these leaders. And the first leader we want to introduce is Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw. Good afternoon, Dr. Rice Crenshaw. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm great. It's exciting to be here.
Very good. I'm going to get everyone in. Then I'm going to come back because I want to hear a little bit about you also and your background. And then we'll go through each person. And our next person I want to introduce, Mr. Louis Moran, Chair of Georgetown County Council, lawyer, and other stuff. Good afternoon, Mr. Louis Moran.
Good afternoon, Marilyn. It's a pleasure being here, and thank you for having us on your show.
No problem. I'm delighted that you're here. And we're going to come back to everyone and just learn a little bit about each person here and why you are here today before we really dive into talking about our leaders. And next we have Mr. Keith Moore with Browns Ferry Water and Sewer. Hello, Keith. How are you?
Doing great, and thank you for having me.
No problem. We're going to start with Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw. If you could just take like 3 sentences and tell us who you are and why you are proud to be here today.
Well, as you said, my name is Mary Rice Crenshaw. I'm a former educator, the 5th principal of Choppee High School. And I'm excited because the people that are being honored, I know most of them personally, and they are dynamic.
Dynamic. That's true. And we're going to learn more about them. Mr. Louis Moran, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your connection to the event happening Saturday.
Well, thank you, Marilyn. You already stated who I am, and I'm a 1974 graduate of Choppee High. And I've been taught by at least 2 of those individuals, and Ms. Squires obviously is my principal. As a matter of fact, she thought our class was so great that she retired along with us. When we graduated, Ms. Squires retired. So we one of the greatest classes right? All over, right? Exactly.
Very good. There's nothing wrong with that. And then Mr. Keith Moore. Mr. Moore, how are you today? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Doing well. Keith Moore, school board member for the District 7 area. And I'm just a proud graduate of Choppee High School and just excited about being a part of this project to learn more about the giants and which shoulders that I do stand on. So thank you.
Very good. Very good. I'm just delighted that you all were able to join us this afternoon. Before we dive into what's happening Saturday, I want to remind everyone, go to our YouTube channel for Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce and subscribe, and you will be notified about upcoming programs just like this one. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and you will be able to catch our live programming. And then today, because we want to share this good news, go to our Facebook page and share it. If you are an organization that's connected, hey, Choppee Community Organization, hey, Choppee High Alumni Association, go ahead and share from our Facebook page so all of the alumni and community members can follow this show. Also, if you look in the comment section, drop your questions, drop your comments, drop your memories of these impactful educators also. We would love to share your memories also during this show. So let's get started. I'm going to come and I'm going to put Mr. 1974. Is it 1974?
Yes, 1974.
I'm going to put Mr. 1974 on the spot since Principal Squires retired as you graduated. But share your memories with us of Modest Squires. Why is she being honored this Saturday?
Well, Ms. Squires, as the community may know, and some of you may not know, that she initiated the proposal to even establish Choppee School. The school opened in 1957, if I'm not mistaken, and it had its first graduating class back in 1959. And Ms. Squires was very instrumental in beginning the school over there, out here rather, in the western part of Georgetown County, because prior to Choppee being opened, all of the students from this area went to Howard or to some other schools elsewhere. So we did not have a school in this area of the county, and she saw the necessity for establishing one here in order to assist in educating the students from this part of the county, because obviously you had to bridge there, and there's some difficulties in students getting back and forth from the rural areas to the city of Georgetown, where Howard was located. So she found it very instrumental in assisting in establishing the school in the western part of the county, and she remained there and really educated a lot of individuals from that particular area who went on to do marvelous things for the county, the state, and the nation. So Ms. Squires has been very instrumental, and she's been a straightforward principal that everyone respected, listened to, and actually followed her guidance. And we give great credit to her for some of the achievements the students from Choppee High and throughout the state, the county and the state really have achieved. So I've had some pretty good memories from her.
Many people, I did not know Principal Squires. She left before I came to Choppee. Many people don't realize I actually spent 2 years out at Choppee Middle School and did not have a chance to meet her in person. But I think it was about 5 years after she left, I was out there. And even then, I heard of her reputation. She was known to be very much what we would call old school now. And I definitely heard about what you said, Louis, about her discipline and just holding students and the teachers accountable for the welfare of the students. So thank you for sharing those memories. Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw, what about your memories of Choppee and those we are honoring this Saturday? Was Principal Squires your principal?
Definitely. She was my principal, and Louis Murat is correct. They were so bad that she decided that she would not return be with them. But I'm in the class behind Louis. We love Miss Squires. She inspired me to become a principal. And I can remember when she would walk into the cafeteria, and I know Louis remembers this, and we'd be talking and eating and having fun. And when one person looked to the left or the right, and there she was, it was pin drop silence in the cafeteria. Nobody said a word. And I remember we were walking by her office on the breezeway going from the middle school to the high school. And all she had to do was tap on her window. She didn't have to even come outside. And you would be quiet on the breezeway walking, going to class. She required the very best of each one of us. And she had a love for us, for all of us, that just made us all feel special and made us all feel as if she had our best interests at heart. She loved us. She was tough, but she was fair.
And that's what I heard. And, that's old school. And in many ways, we want that to come back. So it's wonderful that you're honoring their spirit. You're honoring their impact this Saturday. What time this Saturday?
At 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Very good. And I'm going to get in later into the show the details of how it's going to work. Where do people need to go? Where they need to park? If you have that, feel free to share for us. We'll do that later in the show. So Keith, you don't have direct memories, I believe, of Principal Squires, but you too heard of her reputation. Just like me, years later, she was so highly regarded that years later we heard about her reputation. Any thoughts and memories that you may have?
Well, here's my comment I would make. It's obvious to me that Choppee is rich in good principles. I experienced Dr. Pringle and also Dr. Crenshaw, and they sound just like Miss Mata Squire. Hearing her stories and the way she disciplined the kids, it lets me know that I'm trying to raise my kids the correct way. And that's not with just fear, but enough fear where they're going to respect me and others. So hearing these stories just lets me know that what I'm doing, I feel like I'm doing that the right way. So I'm just excited, like I said, to be a part of this right here, to honor these great giants that paved the way for so many of us.
Isn't it wonderful that these giants have such an impact that it's generational? Dr.
Absolutely.
Pringle, Dr. Rice Crenshaw, this is generational, and that is really an impact that, we all want to leave. So very good point. Thank you very much. So next on the list, who's the musician here? Who can sing? Because I want to know. No one here?
No, it's amazing that Miss Howard kind of drafted me to be on the choir, and I could not sing a note, but she had me on her choir for a couple of years there. And I don't know whether it was just to fill in the spot or just a home. I don't know which it was, but I know it definitely wasn't to carry a tone. But yeah, but it was great doing those particular years with Miss Howard, really.
So let me ask you this: did you improve?
Yes, I improved. She taught us how to hold a note, but it's been years ago, and I still can't carry a note. So, but I did fit it too. She did allow me to remain for those number of years. So it was very exciting. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about music under her tutelage, really. So it was really great.
Very good. Wonderful. She was also my first choir teacher in the school setting. So Mrs. Howard not only had huge impact at Choppee, we can never forget those choirs.
Amen.
I mean,
excellent.
You don't hear those choirs anymore in our middle and high schools. The richness of those choirs, and kudos to Miss Howard. Dr. Rice Crenshaw, do you have any memory? Can you sing? First, maybe we need to ask that. Can you sing?
No, I cannot sing. I admire the choir from a distance. I love Miss Howard, but I would dare not even try out or even try to get on the choir because of the expertise. That choir was just excellent. And the productions that they put on, I just admired them from a distance. She did a dynamic job as our choir director, and the awards that they won, state, local, and national. Miss Howard was just excellent, but I stayed away. I didn't do like Lewis, got on the choir, knowing I couldn't sing. I stayed away from the choir.
That wasn't voluntarily. That wasn't voluntarily, man. I was drafted.
I think that's why you went into education, because you learned something. See, Lewis became a lawyer. He didn't learn anything.
No.
Very good. So, Keith Moore, did you sing or play an instrument?
Well, some call it singing, others might have another name for it. Yes.
So were you on the choir when Miss Howard was there?
And not when Miss Howard was there, but I was on the choir at Choppee High School. Yes.
Very good. Very good. So Dr. Rice Crenshaw went into it a little bit, and I'll go back to Mr. I was on the choir for 2 years and didn't improve. What do you think her impact was? Dr. Rice Crenshaw talked about it a little bit, but music, even culturally for us, is so important. So not only did she bring the culture, but she brought the discipline, she brought the education part of music. What are your thoughts regarding her impact?
Well, the richness and the sound that she selected for the choir to sing, the improvement that she brought to us, the interesting aspect, it taught us our history because we sang a lot of, how can I say, black genre type songs like Kumbaya and some other type songs. It kind of stuck with you for a long period of time. It gave you that inspiration, it gave you the strength, and it gave you the foundation to succeed. And she wanted to make sure that you did just that, Because, if I were to tell someone that I was on the choir and I sang baritone bass, no one's going to believe anything that there's any bass whatsoever in my voice. But that's where she placed me, as a baritone bass. But I had some other good people beside me, like Jackie Reed, for instance. He sang in the choir also. He kind of carried it, and you had Nathaniel Walker. Some of those who really can sing, who had really good baritone bass voices. And like Theodore Robinson, I mean, we always were there, and Bear would always tell me, just be quiet now. I'll take it for you. I got it for you. But yes, the inspiration that she gave to us, the encouragement and the desire to succeed, and the ability that she saw within us to succeed. So Ms. Howard was very instrumental in my life to really go forward. Still don't know why she selected me for the choir, but I was glad I was there because I learned a lot from her in the ability to move forward.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Dr. Rice Crenshaw, why do you think, I love what Mr. Morant just said, Louis Morant said, but why do you think we need to honor her?
We need to honor her because she gave so much and brought so many cultural things to us rural children, rural students. I never heard a choir sing In That Great Getting Up Morning or Go Down Moses until Miss Howard choir sang it. It was just awesome that she taught us there's more than just gospel or what we heard in our local churches. There was a whole genre out there that we hadn't even heard. And she didn't think it robbery to expose us, rural, poor, minority kids, to that level of music. So it was just wonderful.
Louis, going back to you, do you think those names that you called out in that choir, do you think they feel that impact to this day?
Yes, I do, because they're very attentive. They enjoyed, we had fun in the choir. Okay, they enjoyed singing the song there. We're very excited about the songs again that she selected. It taught us our history because our history came through the sounds she selected, and I'm sure she realized that. She found those particular tunes that would uplift us, and that's what happened. So yes, I think if you were to ask anyone who sang in Miss Howard's choir, a smile will come upon their face and they'll be all excited. They're happy to say, now they probably didn't want to be there at the time they were there, but afterwards they're very excited to be under her and understand what emphasis, how important it was for them to be on that particular choir. So they really appreciate the teachers that she had brought forth from them, really, for them.
Yes,
Can I piggyback on something?
Yes,
Louis,
please do.
The discipline, that choir was always groomed perfectly.
Yes.
And they stood at attention. They followed all of Miss Howard's cue. They were excellent. And that discipline, I think, kind of went overall. It transferred into the school in general and even into our lives today. At least I can speak for Mary Rice Crenshaw. I'm disciplined, I'm focused, and it's because of what these heroes that we're looking at shared with us as students at Choppee High School.
Very good, very good. I know, Keith Moore, you said you didn't have the opportunity to be in her choir, but tell us your thoughts, what you've heard about the choir and Mrs. Howard, and any thoughts you may want to share.
And here's my thing. I feel like each of these individuals, I'm a part of them, or they laid something there that I'm taking advantage of. I had Miss Mosby as my choir director, and she sounds a lot like Miss Howard. There's expectations and demands there, and I just love the rich history of Choppee. It's this word that's being thrown around by Dr. Crenshaw, the continuing to keep the legacy alive. And I think this is just such a great opportunity right here for us to establish the fact that there is a legacy that's worth keeping alive. So each of these person, even though I didn't have that personal experience, I just feel the connection simply because of what I experienced during my time at Choppee High School.
Very good, very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. I don't know, did my cat just show up on the screen? Here he is. All right. I have not been home, so he's a little jealous right now. All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And next, musical-wise, we have Mr. Thomas Moutry. I have to say, it's my first bandmaster. I played the flute and piccolo, and let me tell you something. when Choppee High School marching band came down Front Street, whether it was the Christmas parade or homecoming or anything like that, everybody waited for Choppee band. Even when I left Choppee and came into that other school with the Gator,
There you go.
so forgive me. Everybody knew that best band in the county. So we know we can't sing here. Does anyone play a musical instrument on this panel other than me? No. So in other words, we just enjoyed the drums and the rhythm and the music and the dancing in the street. Because let me tell you, people danced in the street when Choppee High marching band came down the street. You know, Dr. Rice Crenshaw, let's start with you. What are your memories of the band?
Well, I wasn't on the band, but I took music appreciation under Mr. Moultrie. And he gave me one compliment I'll always remember. He said, Mary, you have an ear for music. That's all he said. He didn't say anything else. Because he would play us classical music, all genres of music. And then he gave us a test. And he said, I'm going to play it, and I want you to name the composer and name the piece of music. And I got 100%, Louis. I know you don't believe that, but I got 100% because I paid attention. I listened to the music. But if you'd ask me to play anything, I cannot play not even a whistle. I'm sorry. I'm not good at it at all. But I love Mr. Moultrie, and he loved us. He gave us.
Yeah, that was the band. That was the band. You know, before we continue, I want to ask one question. If y'all remember this, did Choppee choir wear choir robes? I seem to have a memory of that.
They did. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay, they did. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, that's just so important when you talk about culture. Because I know we all are all old enough to remember our church choirs coming down the aisles in our churches, and then to see that in our schools and not realize until years later, that's a cultural moment to wear those choir robes. That's just how important Miss Howard was. And I say that because people wore the Choppee High marching band uniform with pride. Absolutely. I remember, because my brother Walter actually was in high school. I was middle school, so I didn't actually get on the big band. But my brother Walter did. And I cannot tell you how proud it was to shine them shoes and making sure they were white
there you go.
With them green uniforms. Just those cultural touchstones, Dr. Rice Crenshaw, that you've been talking about that are just so important and that these folks represent. Mr. Morant, Mr. Luz Morant, you don't play an instrument, but please share a memory.
Mr. Moultrie, no, I did not take any courses under Mr. Moultrie, but with him being the band director and by being on the choir, we got together a lot really during our concert seasons, because obviously he directed the concert choir also. I mean, the concert band, the concert band. And it was very exciting to see him with his little, what do you call the little thing, the little marching, the concert thing he leads, the director, whatever it is.
Yeah, the baton.
Yeah, it was amazing. He really was one of the first opportunities that I've had to see someone actually directing a choir. And you look at the movements and everything that he was doing in the band going, right along with it. He was directing the band. I'm sorry, I keep crossing up with choir, but it really was the band. He was directing the concert band there. And it was really amazing to see his demeanor and to see how the students paid attention to him and see how he actually was uplifting them and giving them credit for what they were doing. The enthusiasm that he gave to the members of the band and the excitement he gave to them, the encouragement. And that's what I really appreciate about them. They didn't try to knock anyone down when you hit any wrong notes or anything along those lines. He just sent out that encouragement to them to keep going and keep uplifting it and keep moving on. So he didn't try to set them aside and tell them to be quiet. He may take his little baton or whatever you call it and tell them to calm it down a little, but he didn't tell them to quit and to cut it off or say any negative remarks to them, to discourage them. So he gave them all the encouragement that they needed, I think, to carry them along, to bring them forward. And it was an exciting moment because obviously the band and the choir always thought that we were competing against each other. And obviously one can't compete against the other because you have different tonalities there. But we always tried to make sure that if the band is doing well, we want to make sure the choir is doing great also. So to have an all-inclusive concert, and with Ms. Howard and Mr. Mutri being over the musical department at Choppee, it really brought excitement to everyone. It was an exciting night. We had packed houses when we had our concerts, so it was really great being there, just being present.
That's so true that there were packed houses. I mean, it really was, because my mother was a musician, played the piano in Oregon. I have my father loved jazz. We were a musical household. I don't think people realize how important voices are, the quality of voices. And my mother used to say, there is nothing like a well-rehearsed band, high school band, and high school choir, and actually college too, because that's when your voices are young and rich, but it takes training. And I dare say Mr. Mutri and Ms. Howard, Choppee was very fortunate. And because Choppee was fortunate, Georgetown was very fortunate, as Lewis, you just said, to have two of those folks together at the same time at Choppee High School. Cannot be discounted at all. Mr. Moore, I would dare say, Mr. Mutri foretold what we see at HBCUs now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He actually made Choppee one of those we call ourselves the HBC high school in the area. I just saw a comment from my sister Wilhelmina Priest about her time with Miss Howard, and also on the marching band. And that's what I remember about her being on the marching band. Standing alongside the highway, and the ladies with the big old legs and the white boots coming near. It was such an experience. Miss Rice, you wasn't in there, were you?
No, I wasn't. Mr. Mutri wouldn't let me be a majorette because of the leg situation. It was excellent.
But I actually had Mr. Mutri. I actually had him as a teacher in high school. My senior year, because I played football, I never was part of the band, but nevertheless, I needed band my senior year. And it was just such an experience to see this gentleman teaching class with such passion and love, and demanding you to work hard as well at learning how to read music. So yes, I did experience Mr. Mutri. I never, even though I wasn't on the band, I had the opportunity and the pleasure of being in his presence as he taught the thing that he loved the most.
Very good, very good. This legacy is just continues, and I would dare say I agree with you. I'm glad you said that about the colleges and everything, and the impact. And I'm glad this is your sister, Wilhelmina Priest.
Yes.
All right, that's right. He was a force to be reckoned with, and I actually got to enjoy him in church too, because St. Michael's AME Church, years afterwards got to enjoy him at the church also. Very good. And then we have, did anybody play football here? So we can't sing, we can't play a musical instrument. So Keith Moore, you can play football.
You know, I could play a little bit.
Okay, very good. Lewis, did you play football?
No, I didn't play football. Did not. Did
Dr.
not.
Mary Rice Crenshaw, did you play football?
Not play football, no.
Were you a cheerleader?
I was going to tell you, I wasn't even a cheerleader, drum majorette, you name it. I did not do it.
But can I tell you something about Dr. Crenshaw in regards to football?
Please do.
I played a little college football, came back home, and I was working in the area, and she and I bumped into one of them. I can't remember where, but she contacted me, and she gave me one of the greatest opportunities that I've had in my life thus far. And she allowed me to come out and coach with the school when she was principal there. And I remember this like what happened yesterday. She said, "Now, Mr. Moore, we can't pay you," but she said, "I tell you what I'm going to do. At the end of the year, I'm going to find some money. I'm going to pay you for coming out and helping us coach this football team." So, Dr. Crenshaw, thank you very much for that opportunity. I enjoyed. I love football, and I love the fact that you gave me an opportunity to not just experience it as a player, but as a coach as well. And I think that was my first opportunity to actually act as in a coaching capacity. So she didn't play, nor did she cheer on the cheerleader squad for us, but nevertheless, she contributed through allowing this great person here to be a part of it. Thank you.
Somebody, my husband just texted in and said, Dr. Crenshaw marched the football field praying for every game. You're right about that.
And prayer was.
I prayed around the football field before every game, so I did something.
There you go.
So, Dr. Rice Crenshaw, tell us about, we'll start with you, with Coach Spears, and how he came I think he retired and you convinced him to come back.
I sure did. Mr.
Tell us that story, then we're going to get into the football and everything. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll start by the fact that I was actually I do a lot of praying. I prayed for a coach because we needed a change because my children were not winning games and things weren't going right and whatever. So I went to the football game at Andrews High School that night. I'm sitting in the car, it's raining, and I'm praying. And who knocks on my window but Coach Spears? And I said, Coach, come on, let's sit down, let's talk. I need you. We need you. Choppee needs you. You started the program. If anybody can revive the program, you can do it. And so he said, I will come back. But if it gets too tough, now, I can retire. I said, yes, sir, I know you can, but give it a try. And the rest is history because he won the 1994 state championship game for Choppee High School. And we're still celebrating that today. I still have on my jacket. I wore it today, so you all can see my jacket, my championship jacket, my principal jacket. And the rest is history. He's just a wonderful person, great coach, science teacher, just an all-around person that loved Choppee School.
Very good. So, Lewis, thank you. I thought it was just so important to tell that story, that prayer, it really does work. Yeah. And things come together for a reason. And that's what people need to hear, that story. So, Lewis, you didn't play football, but I saw, were you a cheerleader?
No, I wasn't a cheerleader. Well, not in the sense of the word per se.
All right. So I know you helped the team win, though. So tell us your memories of Coach Spears.
But really, I first met Coach Spears really more from the academic perspective. Really, he taught me physics at Choppee. And I got to know Coach Spears from that perspective initially. And then obviously we would attend the basketball and football game because he did both. He coached football and he coached basketball also. He started both of those programs at Choppee. And as time went along, I was initially a student of Mr. Spears and Coach Spears, and subsequently became a friend. As time went on and as we moved back home, then I got to know Coach Spears even better because he became a member of the Board of Education. And he really was instrumental in emerging of Choppee and Pleasant Hill because he served on the Board of Directors at that particular time. And we had a lot of meetings together in order to see how that plan can actually work. So not only did he look out for the students of Choppee, but he's looking out for the students in the western part of the county to make sure they get all the academic requirements and all the necessities needed to move forward into life. He was very instrumental in the Board of Education to assure that the students at Choppee receive their due funding in order to be successful, because Choppee, as you may know, was underfunded. All the other schools were getting necessary funding, getting necessary programs, and Choppee was not. And the enrollment at Choppee kept declining, and the lines kept moving, and all of a sudden they're looking at the probability of closing Choppee down. So Coach Spears served on the Board of Education when that merger came about between Choppee and Pleasant Hill, which we now have Carvers Bay. So he was very instrumental in assisting in formulating that particular program to move forward, to make sure that the students in the western part of the county did not lose out by being underfunded. He's a good teacher, and we like to talk about sports going back to the high school days. We like to talk about sports in his classroom. And one of the things that the students used to do in Coach Spears' class, it was, if he had a big win that Friday night, we would come back to class on Mondays, and we don't have our homework because we stayed out all weekend properly. But if we didn't have our homework together, we would try to engage Coach Spears in some type of sports talk, and try to move forward because we didn't have our homework. So we tried to engage him. Sometimes it worked, but most time it didn't. He kind of caught on to us because we were generally trying to change the subject. And he was a lot of fun, a lot of thrill, and a good teacher. I learned a lot from him, from the personal perspective and from the educational side. He taught us the ways of life and how to get along. And he really showed the concern for people. And I'm sure Keith can probably tell you a little more about it, but he really showed the love for people. And by him being the coach in the rural part of the area, there's no transportation there. And I kind of hope Tucker was here because he was very instrumental there in picking up the students, taking them to practice, bringing them back home. He served as a father figure to a lot of the students there, not only to the students who were playing sports, but to the students within his classroom. He wanted to make sure that we did the right thing, that we moved along. and we had respect for each other. So I really have fond memories of Coach Spears because even after he retired and got into the Board of Education, we had a lot of lunch sessions together, and we would sit around and chat as to what he feels needs to occur within the school system of Georgetown County. So I have some fond memories of Coach Spears, and amazing as life, it's amazing how life turned because again, he is my teacher. Then all of a sudden, I became his lawyer. So it's kind of exciting that he had that respect for me, the same more so than I had the respect for him. I had great respect for him, and he seemed to have turned that around and had respect for me also as a lawyer. Now he could have started with my brother Johnny. It could have been him now, and I just happened to be there with him. But he did allow me to do some things for him to assist him along. So I really have great respect for Coach Spears and great memories of him. Also, I always considered him a friend. Always exciting to be with him and to see him. That was really exciting for me. He always has something that he can share with you and something that he can teach you, really. So I enjoyed Coach Spears.
Very good. I also knew Coach Spears on a personal level, and I'm sure, Lewis, that he appreciated that the part he played in your education and you becoming later his personal lawyer, that he shared some pride in that also. So congratulations to you. And before I come to Keith Moore to talk football and the championship and everything, I want to remind everyone, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Go to our Facebook page, even the Georgetown NAACP Facebook page. We're live right now, even as we speak, and you can share this show. And there are a lot of you on, so we want to say thank you for joining us live today. We're going to repeat this show this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So tell folks if you missed it today, you could check it out Wednesday, but share it right now, and let's share the good news that we're sharing today. Keith Moore, you played football.
Yes.
Tell us about your experience. Was Coach Spears your coach?
He was not my coach. Coach Lee Carter was my coach.
Okay.
He was, yes. So what I do remember about Coach Spears in football, because I never played for him, but after I left Choppee coaching, I started to coach in the community. And like I said, I was a pretty good coach, I like to think. So I remember on our game nights, which would be like Tuesdays and Wednesday, Coach Spears would be at the fence watching my kids play. And then I can always go to the game on Friday night, and there he go. He's running some of my plays, So I think Coach kind of owed me for that. So certainly that was a great honor to see him running some of the plays that I actually created them on. But my friend Jonathan Giles had the opportunity to coach alongside him when they won it. Jonathan Giles, Zach Gray, a couple of guys who coached with him when they won that championship. I'll never forget that night in Florence Coliseum, I think it was at. There you go. I was there, and it was one of the proudest moments for this community here to see that Choppee won a championship. So it's just a great pleasure. I've heard some of the stories like Louis referred to, far as picking up kids, dropping them off. So what that does for me is it lets me know that when I do these things today, that I'm really not doing anything special. It is just what we're supposed to do for our kids that needs us in those different aspects of their lives. So I just thank God. Like I said, man, these giants and these stories that I hear about them, it just humbles me right down and lets me know that this is what I should be doing. It's nothing for me to brag about or boast about, but this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So kudos to Coach Spears for what he did for our kids when they were growing up.
And not only the football, but you have something in common with him because you're on the school board now.
Yes, I am. Yes, ma'am.
So was that influential also, knowing that someone who had such an impact in Choppee was on the school board?
There's always an influence from so many different persons that came from Choppee. One of the things Louis said that Coach did is to look after for the kids, especially for the whole county, but especially from an area here. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we are getting everything that everybody else have, and also sometimes I want to make sure we get it before somebody else gets it. If it's good for our kids, I want to make sure we get it. So I just know now it is confirmation to me that I am doing the right thing for the right reason. So it's just good to hear these stories.
It really is. It's good to hear these stories. And I want to share one more. I think I have it because I didn't have a picture of Miss Modest Squires. Let me see if I can pull that up now so folks can see. It's an earlier picture of her with all four of them. I think I shared it. Well, this is the flyer for Saturday. I'll go ahead and put that up. And then there's there's the picture of all four of them here that we're honoring this Saturday, 3 o'clock, facilities dedication, November 11th 2023, Maud Esquires, Auditorium Building, John Spears, Thomas Mucci Jr., and Josephine Howard. So, Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw, explain to our viewing audience how's this going to work Saturday, and where's this dedication going to take place? And I'm assuming after the dedication, we could go see a plaque, see their history. Can you explain to us what's going to happen Saturday?
Okay, maybe I should let our chair, Keith Moore, share all of this with you.
That'll work too. That's an answer. I like that.
Mrs. Hemway, of course, I'm going to defer that to her. She knows that. I don't know why she even decided to give me that opportunity. Come and defer it back to her.
All right. Okay. Here we go. It's the Choppee High School Facilities dedication, November the 11th. I'll be presiding over the program. We'll have an invocation from our very own 1968 graduate, Mr. Joe Canteen, welcomed by our chair of our County Council, District 7, representing District 7, Mr. Louis Morant. And then we'll have the occasion by our magistrate, all these people are graduates of Choppee High School, to give us the occasion, and he'll explain more about why we are doing this, why it's important, why we're so proud of what's going on. And we've invited Mr. Levon Matthews from the Choppee High School staff from 1967 to 2000. And he's going to talk, maybe share a little bit of the stories about each one of the honorees. And then we'll do the dedication of the football field or the athletic complex. And we have family members that will be coming to give word of thanks as their family members are being honored. And then the county will come in and do a ribbon cutting. We're going to be at the football field first, and then we're going to transition to the front of the building, the auditorium, and then that's where we'll have the ribbon cutting. And after the ribbon cutting, of course, we can go on the inside. You'll see the plaques or whatever that's made out in honor of the honorees. And we even planned a reception for you, just to mingle and socialize and enjoy this festive, long overdue opportunity to celebrate at Choppee High School. Mr. Moore, is that it?
It sounds great to me. Sounds like a full fun date. So yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay. Mr. Moore will be giving remarks at the end to thank everybody for coming out.
So, Mr. Louis Morant, and thank you very much, Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw. Louis Morant, your thoughts about Saturday and why it's so important for folks to come on out to enjoy this wonderful program. It sounds like you're very organized and it's going to make some impact. So, your thoughts why it's so important that folks need to come out.
Yes, well, when we look at things that occur within the western part of Georgetown County, northwestern part per se, it has always been the interest of the persons in that particular area to try to upgrade it so the residents in that area can have and the entities there can be comparable to any other part of the county. And as you may know, Brother Johnny, he started with the Choppee facility that's out there when the old gymnasium, which was run down, was torn down, and he requested council to allocate funding to build a new gymnasium over there, a new center. And when you look at the existing building right beside that particular new facility, it just didn't seem to blend in as well. So what we wanted to do is do a renovation project of the older building to try to make sure it blends in with the new facility that's there. And as some of you may have recalled, there is a capital project sales tax referendum that passed back in 2014, and there was some funding allocated from there. And when I got on council back in 2019, really started service, each council member was allotted $1 million to spend some funding within their communities. And the first thing that I kind of looked at is looking at the buildings over at the Choppee facility, because we wanted more of a cultural center where the people in the area can say, look, we have something right within our community that we can utilize and be beneficial for us all. So there's a beautiful auditorium at Choppee. And it's amazing that auditorium was going unused. Every now and then, the Head Start program, which is next door, would utilize that auditorium, but then it just wasn't up to par. So one of the things we wanted to do is do a complete renovation of that particular auditorium to make it usable to the public. And it can begin to blend in with our cultural center. We wanted to have it, and I must give some credence to our recreation director, Ms. Beth Goodall, because she came up with the idea of trying to turn the auditorium to like a cabaret scene, like a dinner theater, basically where the chairs are removable and you can have all type of events there. And that's what we've done. The holdback on it was when the pandemic struck, then the supply chain became short. We could not get the supplies in. And it's amazing because initially this dedication was supposed to have been back in June. I met with Ms. Howard during that time period. That was back in March when they stopped by and, we were doing some work for them and discussed the matter with them. And she was really excited about it. So we really wanted to try to get it accomplished in June, but we could not get all the equipment in for that particular time period. So she saw it there, and she was the only living one of those 4 individuals that I think Mr. Spears still living, I think though. But she was there. I can't remember when Mr. Spears passed, but I know she passed maybe a month afterwards, and that was kind of kind of saddened by that. But we wanted something within the northwestern part of the county that we did not have to travel across the bridge to have entertainment, to have excitement, to have events going on. Choppee, when you look at the Choppee complex, the entire complex, there are a lot of opportunities there. We have Rocky Point Park right down the street. Now, Rocky Point Park, as you may know, is slated to become a state park. So we have all those opportunities right within our back doors. So our thing is, let's work with these and utilize what we have within our communities. And these are the individuals who brought some of these things into fruition. Ms. Wise, she assisted in being the first principal at the school. So definitely we wanted something there to honor her. And Mr. Spears was the main football guy. And I'm grateful to Dr. Crenshaw for bringing Mr. Spears back to Choppee because he really enlightened the environment there. He enlightened the students. And obviously, you can't say enough about Mr. Mutri and Ms. Howard as far as the musical geniuses from that particular school. So those are the memories you have, and those are the memories we want to move forward with. They established the legacies there, so they established the cultural center, and that is why we want to make sure that these persons are honored, and those facilities will continue to highlight them, live their names. So the county wanted to do something special for them and have that dedication. And I must give credit also to Dr. Pringle. We have a lot of conversation with Dr. Pringle. The county did the resolution to have those facilities named in their particular honor. And after having a conversation with Dr. Pringle and moving forward with it, it has really come into fruition. And really it's an exciting opportunity for the northwestern part of the county to utilize the facilities that we have there, because sometimes we have to jump between having events at the gymnasium and the other rooms within that particular facility. But now we have the auditorium. So we have an opportunity there to utilize the auditorium with a nice sound systems and everything else that's going to be within that particular facility. So I think it's a great opportunity for the northwestern part of the county. And it's an opportunity for us to make sure we utilize facilities that are within our communities. It's right there. I mean, it's open for use, really. So
I am so delighted that you're taking this opportunity to honor these 4 leaders, but also not only to honor, but to be forward thinking, to take our history, Choppee's history, and showing a way. The foundation was laid by these 4 individuals and others, and you take that foundation and move it forward. And you're doing it by literally manifesting in that theater, the auditorium, and the soon-to-be state park, taking that history and celebrate it. You cannot shout that loud enough, how important that is to our community and in particular to our youth, because it grounds them so that they can have vision and grow and go forth and say, if they did this, we can do it too. I cannot say how important that is. And Mr. Moore and Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw, I want your opinions on that, what Mr. Morant just said. I'll start with Mr. Moore, because you're on school board and you deal with our youth. You help set policy and it deals with our youth. What are your thoughts? I think you cannot celebrate this enough.
First, I'd like to thank Mr. Moran, because him and I, we had a couple of meetings out in the Lanes Creek Park to discuss the auditorium during the pandemic. So I certainly understood the delay on it, but nevertheless, that day have come where we can get together and celebrate this right here. And also Dr. Pringle, she got me in this position far as being chairman over this committee here to see that this day happens. And if I didn't speak to her once a week, every day, she would call and leave me these nasty messages at my job. So she was very passionate about seeing this through as well. And my thoughts on this occasion and today's education simply is that celebrating these persons that we're going to be celebrating, the kids should understand the history and where we came from and know that there is no excuse on what we can accomplish moving forward. For a matter of fact, I feel obligated to doing my best simply because of the sacrifices they made. I'm just excited that there is so much success that has graduated from Choppee High School, that our kids of today have those success stories to look at and know that, yes, they can.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Moore. That's well said. Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw, your thoughts as principal at Choppee, you helped to recruit Coach Spears back. Your thoughts regarding the impact of these four and the facilities and the future of these facilities.
I'm elated and so very, very happy to be a part of the committee. I do want to thank Erwin Blueprint Parker, because he's the one that drew me into this and asked me to work on the committee. So I'm appreciative of the vision. Now, we did a book, and when the school closed, I don't know if you can see it. When the school closed in 1999, we did what we call the Choppee Legacy Project. This project, we brought in a consultant, Vinnie Moore, from the South Carolina Arts Commission, and we started the legacy. We captured the history before Choppee was in existence, to the one-room schools that were in each of our communities, in our church buildings. We interviewed people in the community about how all of this wonderful Choppee image was developed. We did that. When I say we, the teachers as well as the students. And this book, I've never forgotten, because it has to be, it has to go on. It's our legacy. We've got to teach it. We've got to share it with our kids. Share it with keep the memory alive of those individuals like Principal Squires and Mr. Spears and Mr. Moultrie and Miss Howard and so much more. So many people that did so much for the Choppee image. Dr. Pringle. It was just awesome. We have a story to tell is the name of the book. And every graduate in here from 1959 to 2000. It has the pictures, the history of us coming from the plantations in Plantersville, Nightingale, and the Arundel Plantation. We did grave carvings, all of this to reserve our history. And the book, we copyrighted it. And from this legacy dedication on November the 11th, I prayed that we will pick it up and continue to write the history and never let it die. It's a rich, glorious history. And this celebration, this facilities dedication, is just another brick on the wall that says what a magnitude, what a difference Choppee School made for the rural kids of Georgetown County. And I know I'm talking too long, but my mom actually grew up in the rural school at Mount Olive Baptist Church. She couldn't go to the 8th grade because the school stopped at the elementary level. And it's not just her, so many people in our community. But because of what Ms. Squires did, Choppee opened, adult education opened, and she completed her high school diploma in adult ed. So many things happened because of Ms. Squires, and we just love her. All of these people that are being dedicated, but there's so much more that we have to do. God bless you, and I'm not going to say anything else, Louis. I'm done.
You're good. You're doing a great job.
A wonderful job, by the way. I'm glad you brought that up. And there was a question: is the book still available? So, are you going to have it for sale?
We're not now. We have to add some more things, redo some things, and make it to include some of the history, because from 2000 on to present day, it's not in there, but we need to do more. It takes you up to the closing of Choppee School, and then it stops. And we need to do more with the book. But as soon as we get it ready, yes, we'll go and republish again.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me tell, I'm challenging our viewing audience here. Y'all need to buy the book. Don't come and say, give me the book. You know, I love it and give y'all, they got plans. This is how you support the Alumni Association. This is how you support the Choppee Community Organization, and what other organizations come out of this. Because I don't know. I'm just speaking from Maryland. Y'all welcome to come back on this show when the book is done. But this is how we support our culture and each other and our history. Don't come for the family discount. Come to buy the book. I'm telling y'all right now, because you know, we ain't have to say, we know why I just said what I said. So y'all need to come buy the book, okay? And we're gonna promote it when it's done. This is a real thing, and I'll tell you why I brought you Marta Squires, Thomas Mucci Jr., Josephine Howard, and Mr. John Spears, Coach John Spears, are part of a long line of history makers. Mm-hmm. Most people don't realize we have public education because of Black males who were elected during Reconstruction. No one had public education before that. You were either the plantation owner, children, and you were tutored, or we went into the Bush Arbor churches or the Bush Arbor and we learned at the knee. But Black males codified into law public school education. So even white schools didn't even exist. They may have been segregated later, but during Reconstruction, public school education was created by Black males who were elected as United States representatives and state representatives. That legacy continued through Amada Squires, John Spears, Josephine Howard, and Thomas Mucci Jr. Greatness is being honored this Saturday at 3 p.m. I encourage everyone to go out there and learn and enjoy. But remember to go buy the book. That's all I'm going to say about that, because that's very important. And y'all know Maryland, if y'all know enough, Maryland's serious about her culture and history and all that and economic development. So we're not going to play, are we? Everybody nod your head in your house or wherever you watch. Nod your head, yes. All right. Amen. Hallelujah. We all in agreement. I'm going to give everybody the final word here. Keith Moore, any thoughts?
I'm just excited about the upcoming event and looking forward to seeing all the graduates of Choppee get together and talk about who sings the alma mater best and the correct way. Of course, the class of 89 is that class that does everything right. So I'll let Mr. Morant and Dr. Crenshaw take over from there. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Ms. Marilyn, for allowing us to be here this afternoon to promote this event as well. Thank you very much.
Well, y'all know I got personal contact. I consider myself an Indian because I was out there for 2 years in middle school, and my mama was librarian for 18 years. So my brother, George, graduated in 1979 from Choppee, and me and Walter were out there for 2 years. So, and, you know, Choppee is just as important as where we finished high school. So
absolutely, yes.
You know, people forget that. I'm gonna say this really quick, and then I'm gonna let you know, you got the come here's and the been here's, and the come here's tend to think we only in city of Georgetown, or we only in Choppee, or we only in Andrews or Waltham on that. We all over Georgetown County. We all related, and all you got to do is follow the water. Absolutely. All right, that's all you got to do is follow that water. Lewis.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Marilyn, again for allowing us to be on this program. But it's really just amazing to see what can occur when the community works together to have a project established. This has really been a great project, and I'm so excited that it's coming to fruition there, because we are somewhat dismayed with our supply chain, always telling us we cannot do this and they don't have this in yet. But when the community comes together, it's amazing what can be accomplished, and that's what we are experiencing here. And it's great, Dr. Crenshaw, with the legacy project that you're doing, because especially in today's society, it's so important that we learn about our history and we don't forget from whence we came. So that's very important, and we have to keep that going, because as you know, with everything that's going on today, they're trying to wipe it out. So we need to make sure that we understand and that we make sure that our younger generation understands from whence we came. So again, Marilyn, thank you for allowing us to be here. And we know what can occur when a community pulls together. We can accomplish many things. We can climb greater heights. And that's what we're doing here with the honoring of these particular individuals and the dedication of these buildings. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. And Dr. Mary Rice Crenshaw, I know you said you talked a long time, but we're going to give you two sentences to wrap it up for us.
Great being here. Looking forward to more. We have a story to tell from Choppee High School. The legacy lives.
Yes, you do. Very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for joining me on this panel today. Wonderful panel. I enjoyed it. I want to remind everyone that if you missed it today, tell everybody. Tell everybody that you can see this again at 4:00 this Wednesday, and definitely do not miss this facilities dedication this Saturday, November 11th at 3 p.m. at Choppee. You can't miss it because it's on Choppee Road, y'all. So just go on the Choppee Road and drive up and down if you don't know where it's at until you see it, because you can't miss it. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Loved it. Great information. And I'm looking forward to Saturday. And Aunt Charles Button has already told me she going. She gonna be there. So y'all be ready. Okay, y'all know you got to prepare for that. That's all I got to say. If you know my Aunt Charles, that's all I got to say. All right, y'all. Thank you for coming this evening. Have a wonderful day. And we'll see you Wednesday, everybody, for the recording. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. How do I get off?